Hello, my fluffy lemons. So, my name is Alice, and I'm a junior in high school. I talked to 9 people from the top 9 US universities, and these people got in this year. Some of them are taking gap years though, but these are absolutely amazing people, and they're going to tell us how important authenticity is in your application, and in my application too. And yeah, let's figure it out together. See ya! So, what do you think set you apart?
Yeah, so I think what set me apart, that's a good question. I've been lucky enough to maybe talk to my admissions officer after I got in. And, we had a little bit of a candid conversation. Yeah, just from that, obviously he didn't tell me, Adith, this is why you got in, Definitely not like that.
That would be
But
helpful though.
that would be definitely helpful. But no, just from what I could gauge, from our conversation and this conversation with admitted students, I think what, at least from a Stanford perspective, what they really valued was the authenticity. It was my application was pretty goofy. So I think one thing that might have set me apart was that I was very authentic. I made really stupid jokes that were very me. Because I'm full of crappy jokes. Yeah, for example, I really like arcade games, like retro arcade games. So I spoke about that. I made a lot of jokes about that. I made a lot of jokes about just weird stuff. And so I guess they could see the one thing. So point number one, I guess, of why I think I might have gotten in is because they could see that I was being as authentic as I could. I wasn't trying to put on like a facade because I was trying to impress them. I was just like, this is me. So take it in as you may.
When you write your Common App essay that is supposed to be very personal and that is supposed to show the admissions committee something about you that is not seen anywhere else in your application, don't ask 100 people to read it and to give you comments on it because it's personal. So I had friends that would redraft it like 17, 20 times. And by the end, it's just like, it's really a mirror of something that it started to be, an idea that was very great. And it had been polished to the degree that it wasn't even the person anymore. So it lacked that authenticity, I guess. So I asked 3 people in total, the university advisor, my friend, and a teacher that I worked very closely with that essay to read it and give me comments, and no one else. And by the end, you don't have to listen to all the comments that they put, because at the end of the day, this is about you. So if you ask so many people to read, everyone's going to have different opinions. And it's important to have it be you. And if it's not perfect, that's okay, because when you're reading it or when someone's reading it, they have to imagine your voice in their head. So it's like, oh, I can actually hear that person saying that. That's when you know that it's real.
I think the biggest problem is some people focus a little bit too much on grades, saying if I get all straight A's, 4.0 GPA, then I'll get in. Maybe that's true for some people, but I feel like at my time in high school, I basically said, I don't care about grades whatsoever. If I get an A or a C or whatever it is, I don't care as long as, I worked hard and I did what I thought would actually push me. Generally I did what I cared about and what I thought was interesting rather than, I'm doing this for a good grade or for college or something like that. I did it because I loved it. And I think that's what colleges want. Colleges don't care about, numbers on a page. They care about who you are and what you're doing.
Ultimately, if you, it's all just about seeing, like these 4 years of high school, like those are, I'm not just saying this, because I just went to high school and, and I think, and I'm biased because of that. And this is said by adults all the time. Those 4 years are the 4 most formative years of your life. So if something does go wrong, or if you do run into a tough patch, that's just all. It's just becoming part of who you are.
As a character.
Yeah. So when so if you did run into those rough periods, which may very well have affected your GPA or whatever. Talk about that. Embrace that, because that's who you are, and that's ultimately who you're selling to these schools. And once again, they don't like that. Why do you want them?
How do you show your personality through an essay?
What I did personally is I tried to take like more of a conversational tone in most of my essays rather than like a formal tone. I'm sure that definitely depends on what college you're applying to. If you're applying to a college that is more formal, then don't do that. But it seemed to work for the MIT prompts. Oh, and then I also did like this over dramatic one for my last essay. I talked about like my phobia of wasps, but I made it sound like this grand battle. I really enjoyed that essay. I think just make something that you're proud of in the moment and that you can send to your mom, and she'll be like, yeah, that sounds like you.
What do you think sets you apart from other people who apply to Duke?
I would have to say my personality. Like, not saying I have the best personality, but there's a lot of people that I notice when they ever talk. Like, I think I had a really good interview. Like, the interviewer that I talked to said that he gave me like the highest ratings. But a lot of things that people do is they're getting I should act all prim and proper because this person's important and whatever. Like, you just come off as like a robot, basically. So if you have like a little like flair of personality, like tell a story about yourself, like actually speak how you'd normally speak to your friends. Like I try and talk to everybody the same way. Like, I don't have a separate like, oh, I'm talking to an important person voice. Like I just talk to people like the way I talk to everybody.
Sometimes there's a type of power, I guess, in the rawness of something. Like, of course, it needs to be coherent and structured, but it also needs to be you. So, like, a balance of that.
You're a person. You're a human, not just like you're not numbers on a paper or like prim manners, whatever. I'm not saying to be rude, but like show who you are through the way you talk, the way you like your mannerisms, like let them know that they're talking to a person, not just like blank robot. I mean, I guess like tone of voice, there's the way I talk personally is like if I'm talking about like say I were to explain something bio related, I'd be using like big bio words, but also I mix in like slang in order to like paint a better picture of something. Like I can talk official, but I choose not to because nobody really cares. Like say you were talking to a professor, right? And your first interview with a professor, you really want to work in his lab, right? Well, if you start spouting all of these facts, he's just like, yes, I wrote that paper. I know exactly what you're talking about. But I can tell that you studied beforehand so you can name drop all of these enzymes and all of these processes. And you're just doing it to flex that, oh, I went through all this extra effort. I'm smart. Pick me. Or you can do like a casual, like drop everything here and there, but you still keep like a genuine conversation going.
And did you prepare for your interview in any way?
Like this interview, I didn't prepare anything for this. I literally just got back from my grandparents' house and I'm trying to be as honest and as possible, just give you a genuine, this is what my opinion is. This is what happened, whatever. Not like, I wrote down a script and I'm going to read off the script that I spent all this time writing and preparing. Yeah, most of the time you just see with a mask that somebody develops and then you don't actually see who they are as a person.
Yeah.
Like I try to be like the same person that you'd see on the street versus over an official interview or whatever. Authenticity is key. That's my number one thing I'll swear by. Boil the interview down to authenticity is the thing that'll get you in.
Authentic, that's a good word.
So what did Alice learn from this episode? Well, that it is important to be yourself in any situation. Remain who you are. Don't try to change for any application. For anyone, just be you. Everyone will appreciate it much more. Authenticity. What? I meant to say authenticity. I'm gonna leave this in just to prove my point. Be authentic.